Hello everyone, so the pre-patch is coming for the War Within, and there are quite a few changes that are happening going from Dragonflight to this pre-patch. And I thought I'd make a video to talk about them. So topics are the class tree changes and the spec tree changes as well. They've changed they've changed a lot of talents, and they've also changed our sort of damage breakdown as well. So let's talk about that, and also mention the tier set bonuses, because we might play something different. Okay, so this is our Dragonflight talent tree at the moment, and here I have the PTR. And on the PTR, it has changed quite a bit. Let's go through the class tree first. Defensive stance is now baseline. It doesn't cost a talent point anymore, so you can get that for free. They have reshuffled a few things here. Second Wind, for example, used to be here, but now it is here. Second Wind has also gained a new effect. So in addition to the old getting 6% health every 1 second when you haven't taken damage for 5 seconds, you are also constantly healing below 35% health, and the lower you are, the more you will heal. So that effect is from Mr. Bandari. You might remember it being very strong back then. This version isn't as strong as that, but it's still nice to have. It's still a nice buff to Second Wind, which wasn't picked out very often and wasn't useful that very often. It was kind of niche because it's kind of rare that you don't take damage for at least 5 seconds. Shockwave, that's a big one. So Shockwave used to be down here in the tree, so it's hard to reach, and you also couldn't really take Rumbling Earth without losing Uproar, for example, or 2 points in Cruel Strikes. So now you basically get Shockwave for free, and you can easily take Rumbling Earth. And Rumbling Earth, like I say, is something that we couldn't usually pick without losing anything, like something big such as Thunderous Words. You would never really drop Thunderous Words or your Torment in order to take a Rumbling Earth, right? So now you get the CDR on that. So when you hit at least 3 targets, the cooldown of Shockwave is reduced down to 25 instead of 40. And Shockwave's range is also increased by 6 yards. And I didn't realize how big the range increase on Rumbling Earth is. It's a massive difference compared to baseline Shockwave. They've also changed Honed Reflexes a little bit. It now reduces the cooldown of Enrage, Regen, Pummel, Intervene, Spell Reflection, and Stonebolt by 5%, instead of just being 1 second off Raging Blow recharges and Pummel. Crushing Force has been changed from Slam damage to Bloodthirst damage and crit chance. Great change, because, well, Slam on Fury kind of stinks. I think that is most of it. Okay, so one thing to mention also is Piercing Howl and Berserker Shout. Those are way more accessible now, because you used to have to talent into Berserker Rage in order to get those 2 talents. Berserker Rage is now baseline, so it's only a 1 point investment if you want to get Piercing Howl, which can be quite nice to get, but I don't know if you'll ever really put a point into this in PvE. Maybe in Raid, maybe for niche uses in M+, but I don't think we can afford a talent point to take that currently for such an effect. But Berserker Shout, I thought, oh, maybe we can use this, because one of the dungeons that we're going to get in War Within is Mr. Tyrna Scythe. But a big problem with Berserker Shout, which I didn't realize until recently, is that Berserker Shout only reaches party members within 12 yards of you. So if your party members are more than 12 yards away from you, apparently they just don't hear you. So unlucky, I guess. But yeah, moving on. They have reshuffled some things here at the bottom. Shockwave is gone, right? So they felt that they needed to change some of this stuff as well. So Armor to the Teeth used to be above Avatar, and Cruel Strikes used to be above Champion Spear. And what this means basically is that if you were to take Uproar, you would need to get rid of 1 point in Armor to the Teeth, because you can't take a point away from Cruel Strikes. You can't take one from Wild Strikes either, because those are what's allowing you to talent into Roar and Avatar in the first place. And you're obviously not going to drop your Torment either. So the difference between Armor to the Teeth and Cruel Strikes, that's very, very big, because Cruel Strikes is just 1% crit chance and 5% execute crit damage, whereas Armor to the Teeth is gain strength equal to 5% of your armor per point. And per point, this talent is worth about 4 to 5% of your overall damage. That's a lot. That's a big deal. But Uproar also got buffed, so it is kind of worth it if you are doing AoE or in keys in general. This is going to be worth it, because Uproar is now a 45-second cooldown reduction, so it halves the cooldown of your Thunderous Roar. What makes that really nice, why that is really nice, is Uproar used to be 30 seconds, right? It didn't line up with your 45-second Odin's Fury. It didn't line up with your 90-second Avatar or Recklessness. So, yeah, now you'll potentially have Odin's Fury and Roar on 45 seconds, and also Recklessness and Avatar on 90 seconds. So, Odin's Fury and Thunderous Roar, every other one of those two will line up with Avatar and Recklessness, and that feels good. It's always nice when cooldowns line up. It was always annoying to talent into Uproar in that sense, that you would just send on cooldown just because it was worth it, but you can really line it up with your cooldowns very often. So moving on, I think that's all there is to say about the class tree. So in the spec tree here, so as mentioned earlier, they rebalance some of our damage. So the main thing that they tried to do with Fury is to make it so that Raging Blow and Bloodthirst works together now, instead of what it was in Dragonflight, because in Dragonflight you would have either focus on Bloodthirst or focus on Raging Blow, never both. But I think they finally nailed it now. Although in the pre-patch, because we don't have the hero talents that incentivize you pressing Bloodthirst a lot, I think you'll be dominated by Raging Blow rather than Bloodthirst. But that'll get fixed with the hero talents. So one of the things that they did to sort of support that is Blood Craze. Blood Craze used to be whenever your Bloodthirst doesn't crit, your next Bloodthirst has a 15% increased chance to crit until it crits, stacking up to 5 times. But now it's Raging Blow increases the crit chance of your next Bloodthirst by 15% until it crits. So that's a nice change. That's an elegant change, I think. Very, very smart of them to do this one. One thing that they have changed at the top of the tree here is add an Enrage option. So we used to just have improved Enrage here, which increases your haste by 15%. That is what Frenzied Enrage is. But there's a new one now called Powerful Enrage, and it just flat out increases your damage by 15% while you are enraged, meaning that you don't have the 15% increased haste from Frenzied Enrage if you take Powerful. And to me, this is a weird one. I don't like Powerful Enrage in the sense that this really slows down Fury, makes it feel a lot slower. And to me, Fury's identity is to be, a fast spec. And I understand that, that they might have wanted to add this option for people who think that Fury is too fast, and maybe they love Fury, but over the years, they're starting to get wrist issues or whatever from spamming keys too much. I get it, but I don't know. It doesn't feel like real Fury to me unless it's fast. So I hope that the faster Fury spec will eventually be the best one, and Powerful Enrage will just be tuned to be slightly behind, very slightly behind Frenzied Enrage. But at the moment, it is the opposite, because it looks like Powerful Enrage is getting a small edge over Frenzied Enrage at the moment in all of the sims that I've seen. So hopefully that changes, but maybe you disagree. So let me know in the comments what you think about this one, because I think this is an interesting topic. Right, moving on. So for single target, you would play something like this, I believe, because obviously when you don't take Whirlwind, you are playing a single target spec. So Reckless Abandon, they changed that as well. That's one of the things that they did for Raging Blow and Bloodthirst. Reckless Abandon now grants a charge of Bloodthirst and Raging Blow, not either or. You used to just be able to get one charge of Reckless Abandon, which lets you use either Bloodbath or Crushing Blow. But now you can use one of each for every rampage. Good change, very good change. Now, this is seemingly a much stronger option than Anger Management at the moment. I would love for Anger Management to get some love, because it's one of my favorite talents, but this version of Reckless Abandon is really good, so I wouldn't be too upset not playing Anger Management. it's just something I wish for at some point in the future, because I think AM will just be too far behind Reckless Abandon with current tuning. So one more thing that has happened is that we have access to Bladestorm again. So we can do Ravager or Bladestorm. Ravager seems to be the single target option at this point, and Bladestorm the AoE option, because they have changed the follow-on talent here. Hurricane is now gone. Hurricane is the talent that gave you up to 30% strength when you use Ravager, which really took away from the strength of Bladestorm / Ravager for both Arms and Fury. So I think it's really good that they have removed Hurricane, because that allows Bladestorm and Ravager themselves to shine, right? Instead of just being a glorified buff button. So Fury now has Unhinged instead of Hurricane. And Unhinged, if you play Arms, or if you're familiar with Arms, it's the talent that makes it so that every other tick of Bladestorm or Ravager will cause you to cast a Mortal Strike. But for Fury, it's going to be a Bloodthirst instead. So let's talk about that for a moment. So if I was to play, say, an AoE build. Well, actually, my talents were wrong here. Sorry. This looks like the single target build that we're going to be playing. Exactly this, I think. But if you were going to do AoE, firstly, you would take 1 point away from Armor to the Teeth, put that into Uproar. You would remove this Onslaught talent. You would remove Ashen Juggernaut, and probably do this. Take Bladestorm as well. So, yeah, as usual, Fury's build doesn't change much going from AoE to single target, or vice versa. I don't know if this is exactly going to be, the best builds that I'm showing you right now. I'm not taking the pre-patch too seriously, and neither should you. Just have fun, with the pre-patch. There's nothing competitive happening at this time, not that I know of at least. So, yeah. This is probably how it would look. And let's talk about Odin's Fury, because Odin's Fury from Dragonflight to War Within has been buffed massively. So at some point in the beta, they buffed Odin's Fury by 136%, and then figured that was too much, so they nerfed it by 15%. That's still a massive amount better than what we have right now in Dragonflight. And then they also buffed all of Fury's damage by 35%, or somewhere around that margin. So yeah, Odin's Fury hits like a truck now. Now, let's talk about threat issues, because that's something that you will run into. Oh, actually, before I do that, one more mention about Odin's Fury is that because Odin's Fury is now this strong, we probably will be playing the old Season 3 set 2-piece and new 4 set 2-piece as well, so 2P, 2P. The reason for that is, with Odin's Fury being this strong, 50% increased damage on Odin's Fury is a much bigger deal than it was previously. And also Bloodthirst's base damage is much higher than before, so Bloodthirst dealing 150% more damage and having 100% crit is an even bigger deal than before. So, damn. We're going to be doing a lot of burst if we play that. And we most likely will, because that seems to be what's simming best as well. So we even have our robot, our trusted raid bots, backing up that information there. So how will a pull look? So a problem that you might run into if you're going to just do some keys in the pre-patch for fun is that you do a lot of upfront damage and it takes 0 setup. Because what you can do when you charge into a group of mobs is you can pop Avatar, which will automatically cast your Odin's Fury, which via Titanic Rage will enrage you and give you 4 stacks of Meat Cleaver. And then you can Roar, and then you can Bladestorm. And during that Bladestorm, you're using your Meat Cleaver stacks because Unhinged is casting Bloodthirst at your enemies. I believe it'll be 3 times. Or is it 2 times? I think it's 3 times. Anyway, so those Bloodthirsts are also empowered by a 2 set, by the way. And Odin's Fury, Bladestorm, and Thunderous Roar all deal a lot of damage. So if you charge in and you use all of that instantly, you are dead. Most likely to aggro. You probably have to wait for 3 Sunders on every mob. I found a meme from a while ago. I think it was probably from Shadowlands that this one originated. This one here. This is how it will look. You will charge, you will poppy stuff, and then release spirits. And probably repeat a few times. It's gonna be fun. So, yeah, I think that is all there is to say about War Within pre-patch. I hope you enjoy it as much as I have, because I played it a lot on the beta, and I think it's only going to get better when we get the hero talents as well, because the hero talents add more flavor and more interesting interactions to the base spec that we got right now in Fury. So, yeah, I'm very happy with Fury. I might make a similar video for ARMS, but ARMS hasn't really worked for me in War Within. I haven't really been enjoying it. I'm not sure exactly why, because I don't think it's really downgraded that much, or maybe it's even the same. But Fury improved that much that ARMS in comparison just looks like, well, crap. So on that note, I'm going to call it here. So thank you very much for watching. Enjoy the pre-patch, and see you next time.